Hello everyone, this is Shannon for Waffle Flower Crafts. In this video, we're going to play with the super fun Go Girl combo set and add some foil accents to really make a fun card. To start, I have the Go Girl stamp set here, and I'm going to pull off the shoulders and neck stamp and mount it in my Misty. I'm using my Misty today because I'm going to stamp this several times and this will just make it a lot easier. I'm going to grab some skin tone cardstocks here. I'm starting kind of with a off-white or cream color, and I'm going to use a Gina K amalgam ink called Whisper. Now I'll move on to my second cardstock. This cardstock's a little bit a browner or tanner color, and again I'm going to use that same Gina K ink to stamp those neck and shoulders. For my last one I'm using a nice brown color, and I decided to use tea dye ink. You can use whatever cardstocks you have on hand. Just pick a ink color that's just a shade darker than the actual cardstock. So I went ahead and pulled the head off of the stamp set, and I'm just positioning it using the shoulders and neck as a guide, and then I will stamp this on each one of my cardstocks as well, and I'm using the exact same ink that I used prior. Now I'm going to move on to the lips. So this stamp set comes with two lips, but just to make things easier I'm just going to use one lip so I can stamp it multiple times with a Misty. And so I used for the red, I used a Gina K Red Velvet. This pink here is a Distress ink. This is Worn lipstick, of course. And for this one, I'm just going to use Versamark ink. And once I finish stamping those lips, I actually have all my stamping done for my three girls. Now I'm going to move on to die cutting. So this set comes with lots of hair, and it's really fun to pick out your hair and play with the hair because it feels like you're playing with paper dolls. I picked a couple hairs and I grabbed some kind of nice neutral cardstocks here to kind of create their hair. We're going to have like a blonde, a redhead, and a brunette, of course. And I just use the matching dies and cut them out. For the long-haired one, you want to make sure you keep the negative because we're going to use that later. Now, this set also comes with glasses. I cut the glasses 3 times out of some white cardstock, and now I'm going to start positioning everything so I know where to trim. So I'm kind of placing the hair and the glasses, just figuring out where I want them to go, and then I'll grab a pencil and just trace the very top of her head, and now I know where to cut. So I'm going to grab my scissors here and just quickly cut out most of the cardstock away so I can cut this a little bit more easily, and then I'm going to fussy cut right along the edge. When you get to the shoulders, you can cut a little bit more of the shoulders off the side of the shoulders, not the top though, leave the top kind of intact because we're going to cover up kind of the base of her with the matching die that kind of cuts out her top. So I just cut around the head there. I'm going to repeat this process here for all the other girls that I stamped. Again, grab their hair that I'm going to use, kind of position them with the glasses so I know where that hair needs to go, trace it, and then fussy cut it out. And for this last girl, she's going to get the cute little bun on top. Again, trace her. Really don't need to cut out the bun part, just the top of her head. You can kind of cut that whole top part off, but you can cut around the bun if you choose. So now that I'm done fussy cutting them, I'm going to move on to creating their foil accents. So I have some deco foil transfer sheets here. This beautiful one is called Summer Rainbow. I just love that it fades to kind of pink. Even you get kind of an orange there and a yellow, which is perfect because these girls are going to be wearing a pink, yellow, and orange top. So I just have some white cardstock here that's cut to about the same size of that little bit of transfer sheet that I trimmed off, and I ran it through my Xyron sticker maker. I did this just so I could make one side of it adhesive, so I'm just going to remove the backing here and reveal that sticky side, and then I'm going to grab the foil here and stick it right down onto the sticky side. The size of my cardstock here was just determined by the size of those glasses, and I'm going to cut it 3 times, so I made sure I made it big enough so I can cut 3 glasses out of. So now I'm going to selectively pick where I want those glasses to go because I want one of the girls to have kind of yellow tinted glasses, the other to have kind of an orange, and the other to have a pink. So I just put the glasses over that yellow kind of section and then die cut it out. I'm going to keep the little negative insides. That's what I'm going to place in those white frames that I made earlier. So here I'm centering it over a pink section, and I'm just trimming it off so I don't run the whole thing through the die cutting machine at once. And then I'm going to set aside my pink frame or pink lenses, and for this one it's going to be kind of an orange lens, orange yellow lens, and I'm just going to center here and make sure I get a little bit of that orange in the lens and then die cut it. And these are my 3 lenses that I'm going to save and put into my glasses. So I went ahead and made 2 of the glasses already. I'm going to finish up this orange one for you guys. I have some micropore tape. I cut it down to a really small amount. That's a perfect size to fit behind the frames. I'm going to pop each one over the back side of the lens. And once I get those pieces of tape in place, I'm going to grab the lenses, pop them out of the frames, and then pop them into the white frames. And this one I realized I could just kind of line it up and pop it in there, and that was even easier. So here are the finished sunglasses. I'll hold them to the camera so you can see. I love the foil accents here, really mimics the look of sunglasses. So now I have 3 pieces of colored cardstock, and I'm going to create the tops for each one of these girls. I have a yellow one here, and I picked a Gina K ink. This is called Wild Dandelion, and just stamped these stripes. For the orange, this is Tangerine Twist, just stamped them. And then for the pink here, I used Red Velvet again. And again, these stripes are from the Go Girl stamp set, and I just love them. I love striped tops, and I think they just look so cute in their matching colored tops. So here's the matching die that cuts out their blouse. So I'm just going to center it over the stamped stripes and then run it through my die cutting machine. There it is, so pop it out and you can see you have a cute little top. I'm going to repeat that process for the other colored cardstocks. So now I have all the pieces here to start to assemble these girls. The first thing I need to do though is cut off the excess from their chest. So you only need like a little bit more than a 1/4 inch there, because if it's any longer, the blouse will, their body will show beyond the blouse, so you don't want that. So I'm just going to use liquid glue here and start gluing all their pieces. To glue the blouse first, then the hair, and now I'm going to move on to the sunglasses. I will repeat this process for each one of these girls. This is my favorite part, putting these girls together. It really does mimic playing with paper dolls. It was so fun, and I cannot wait to try other different combinations. I think it would be really fun to try patterned paper instead of using the stripes for just something fun and different. Maybe floral pattern paper. And also, you could use really crazy wild hair colors. Pink would be really fun. Just anything would be lots of fun. So here I am ready to finish up this blonde girl. And remember that negative piece? I saved it, put a little bit of glue on the back of it, and I'm just going to line it up and kind of wiggle it in place so it looks like that's the back of her hair. And that will complete these 3 girls. I'll hold it to the camera here so you can look at them. Aren't they so fun? I just loved making these girls. So now I decided to kind of add a little shadow under their chin to really kind of separate their chin and their neck a little bit more. So I decided to use some Copics. These are really, really light colors, just a shade darker than the colored cardstock. And then I blended it out with 0. So really simple. This added just a nice little shadow and kind of made the faces pop away from the necks a little bit better. Now we're going to move on to creating our A10 card base. So I have a piece of white cardstock here that I trimmed down to 7 3/4 by 9 1/4. I'm now going to score at 3 7/8. I always forget the dimensions here for an A10 card base, so I'm going to have to write them down somewhere in my craft room and keep them there. But an A10 card will fit into your regular letter size envelope, and it's a really nice and different card size to make every once in a while. Once I scored that, that's done, and I'm going to move on to these frames. This is the Instaframes die. I used the largest die there to die cut 3 frames. That die actually comes in the Picture Perfect combo set. I'm going to stamp on these frames sentiments from the Go Girl stamp set. Go Girl Go is 1 sentiment. This Your Future's So Bright is actually 1 stamp, and I trimmed it so it split it into Your Future's So Bright and stamped it on the remaining 2 frames. I'm now going to glue these frames down onto these girls, use a little bit of liquid glue here and center them and line that up. Once I do that one, I'm going to repeat the process for the other 2 girls, just making sure that the bottom is covering up the very base of the girls. I don't bother to trim their shoulders off or anything. I kind of liked that look of the shoulders going beyond the frames. Now I'm going to go ahead and kind of arrange these girls onto my A10 card base, kind of figure out where I want them to go, and once I get them perfect, I'll grab some pieces of leftover painter's tape here and just kind of place it down on the frames to hold them all in place, flip it over, and then I'm going to start to glue down these Instaframes that I cut out of white craft foam. So I'm going to use my liquid glue here again and just glue down that first frame. Because these frames are overlapping a little bit, I'm going to have to trim and remove some of the sections of my center and bottom frame. To do this, I just kind of line up the frame, kind of line it up, and then figure out where I need to trim. I'll do it right here on the last frame once I glue that middle one. So I kind of see where I need to trim, just grab my scissors, trim off that section that overlaps, and then I just glue it in place. It's really easy to do, and it just, especially with the painter's tape kind of holding everything in place, it's really easy to figure out where I need to trim. So now that I've added the frames, I'm going to take some scrap white foam here and just trim small amounts to place behind the head to just add some extra support to these girls. With all the craft foam in place, I just added glue to the back side of all the craft foam pieces, and now I'm going to center it on my card front and then hold it just for a second till that glue sets, and then remove the painter's tape, and that actually completes the card. And I'll hold the card up to the camera so you can get a good look at these girls and all the details. I really had so much fun with this set. I cannot wait to play with it more. I think it's really fun too because you can customize these girls. They have lots of different looks with their different hair, and I think also playing with their tops could be a lot of fun as well. I hope you guys enjoyed today's card and video. If you want any more information on the products I use, please visit Waffle Flower, and you can follow us on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook for more creative ideas. Thanks for watching and have a wonderful day.